If you love tractors, and who doesn't, then you know that some machines are more than just lawnmowers with attitude. They're pieces of history, backyard legends, and in some cases, the reason Grandpa won't stop talking about the good old days. Let's talk about 4 iconic small tractors that changed the game, starting with the one that made John Deere a household name beyond the farm. Massey Harris Pony. This little workhorse hit the fields in 1947 and stuck around until 1957. With a 10-horsepower 4-cylinder Continental engine under the hood, the Pony wasn't built for raw power, but rather for versatility. It could plow, cultivate, and even handle light hauling, all while fitting into tight spaces that bigger tractors wouldn't dare enter. Farmers loved the Pony for its ease of use and low maintenance. It was perfect for small-acre farms, backyard growers, and even orchard owners who didn't need a giant machine to get the job done. The best part? You could attach all sorts of implements, from mowers to planters, making it a multi-purpose marvel. The timing of the Pony's release was no accident. After World War II, many small-scale farmers wanted to mechanize their operations without breaking the bank. Massey Harris understood this and delivered a machine that was both affordable and efficient. Over the years, the Pony became a collector's favorite, often compared to the Farmall Cub as a symbol of accessible farming. Whether still working a plot of land or sitting pretty at a vintage tractor show, the Pony has earned its place in history. John Deere 110. In 1963, John Deere decided that big tractors weren't enough. They needed something for suburban dads who wanted to mow the lawn with the same pride a farmer plows a field. Enter the John Deere 110, a 7-horsepower single-cylinder, 4-speed workhorse that turned the average backyard into a personal farm. This wasn't just a lawn tractor, it was a Swiss Army knife on wheels. Homeowners who had been pushing around clunky mowers suddenly felt like they had real power at their fingertips. Even better, it gave them an excuse to spend more time in the yard while avoiding indoor chores. As the years rolled on, the 110 got stronger, reaching 8, 10, and eventually 11 horsepower. It was so popular that owners who started with a 110 often moved on to bigger John Deere models as their yards or their love for green and yellow grew. Today, the 110 is a collector's dream, with enthusiasts restoring these beauties to their former glory. Find one at a tractor show, and you'll see grown men get misty-eyed over memories of cutting grass on a hot summer afternoon. Economy Power King. Not every small tractor came from a big-name company. In 1946, a little outfit called Engineering Products Company decided to build a machine that was simple, tough, and affordable. The result? The Economy Power King, a tractor with a name that sounds like it belongs on a throne. These machines weren't about fancy branding, they were built to work. With engines ranging from 7 to 14 horsepower and a gear-driven transmission, they could handle tasks that would make most lawn tractors beg for mercy. The Power King was all about reliability. It didn't have high-tech gadgets, but what it did have was an owner-friendly design. If something broke, you could fix it yourself without needing a PhD in engineering. What made these tractors special was their versatility. Need to plow a field? Done. Level dirt? No problem. Mow grass? Of course. The Power King became the go-to tractor for folks with small farms, large yards, or just an appreciation for good old-fashioned American durability. Today, these machines have a cult following. Go to a tractor show and you'll see restored Power Kings shining like brand new, with owners grinning as they tell you about the time they pulled a car out of a ditch with one. Panzer T70. If a tank and a lawnmower had a baby, it would be the Panzer T70. Built between 1961 and 1963, this compact beast was as rugged as they come. Weighing in at 540 pounds, it had a stance so wide and sturdy that tipping it over was nearly impossible, unless you were actively trying, and even then, good luck. Powered by a 5.75 horsepower Briggs & Stratton engine, the T70 wasn't the biggest or the strongest, but it made up for that with sheer toughness. Owners quickly discovered that it could take on much more than grass-cutting duty. Attach a snow blade, and you had a mini snowplow. Add a tiller, and suddenly you were a backyard farmer. The T70 was also one of the most comfortable tractors of its time, with an open operator station that made sure you could see exactly what you were running over, hopefully just weeds and not your flower bed. Collectors today go nuts over these machines. You'll see them at tractor meets, freshly painted and polished, looking like they just rolled out of a 1960s dealership. Some owners even modify them with bigger engines and hydraulic systems, proving that even decades later, the Panzer T-70 is still ready to work. The wheel horse Suburban. In the late 1950s and early 1960s, wheel horse Suburban tractors became the go-to machines for suburban homeowners who wanted more than just a lawnmower. Built for versatility, these little red tractors could handle mowing, plowing, and even snow removal. That's right, one machine, all seasons. Founded by Elmer Pond in the 1940s, Wheelhorse built a reputation for rugged, belt-driven mini-tractors that packed a serious punch, with engines ranging from 4 to 8 horsepower, which may not sound like much, but trust me, it got the job done. These machines were designed for easy maintenance. No fancy tools required, just a wrench, a little patience, and maybe a cold drink for motivation. By the 1960s, the suburban dream was in full swing. Middle-class families had quarter-acre lawns to maintain, and Wheelhorse was ready to cash in on the action. Their ads featured proud dads mowing with a smile, and if you were really lucky, maybe even a dog running alongside. Even today, at vintage tractor shows, you'll see rows of these bright red beauties still going strong. Reliable, simple, and built to last, the Wheelhorse Suburban earned its place in history. The John Deere 330. Now, if rarity adds value, the John Deere 330 is a certified treasure. Only made in 1959, this compact utility tractor is one of the rarest in Deere's two-cylinder lineup. And let's be real, when people think tractors, they think green and yellow. Under the hood, the 330 housed a two-cylinder, 100.5 cubic inch engine, delivering about 21.5 horsepower. Not the biggest engine in the world, but for a compact tractor, it was more than enough. Farmers needed something small, efficient, and tough, and John Deere delivered. With a 3-point hitch and options like PTO and hydraulics, the 330 could handle everything from plowing to mowing. It also looked the part. Classic green paint, bold stance, and that unmistakable John Deere styling. This was a machine that meant business. Despite its short production run, the 330 left a lasting impact. It proved that compact tractors could be just as useful as their bigger cousins. Today, collectors go nuts for these things. If you find one in good shape, don't hesitate. Snag it before someone else does. The Farmall Cub. If the Wheelhorse was the suburban hero and the John Deere 330 was the rare gem, then the Farmall Cub was the people's tractor. Produced from 1947 to 1979, this little machine worked its way into the hearts of small farm owners everywhere. At just 60 inches wide, the Cub could squeeze into tight spaces, making it perfect for small farms, gardens, and orchards. The 4-cylinder C60 engine may have only put out around 9.25 horsepower at the drawbar, but it made every bit of that count. Plus, its unique offset engine and Cultivision design gave operators a clear line of sight, making it a dream for cultivating crops. The Cub was also a fantastic starter tractor. Not too big, not too expensive, and easy to handle. It was the machine many first-time tractor owners cut their teeth on. Whether it was mowing an orchard, plowing a small field, or just towing a wagon full of firewood, the Cub handled it all. Culturally, the Farmall Cub is pure nostalgia. With over 245,000 units produced, chances are you've seen one, or at least heard Grandpa talk about the one he had back in the day. Even today, these little red tractors hold a special place in farming history. At any tractor show, someone's bound to point at a Cub and tell you a story. Cub Cadet Original International Harvester wasn't about to let John Deere have all the fun. In 1961, they introduced the Cub Cadet Original, aimed at homeowners who needed more than a push mower, but weren't quite ready for a full-blown farm machine. It came with a 7-horsepower Kohler engine and a steel chassis so tough you could probably tow a small car with it, though IH didn't officially recommend that. Unlike many garden tractors of the time, the Cub Cadet Original had a gear drive transmission instead of a belt system, making it as sturdy as the bigger tractors in IH's lineup. People quickly realized they could use it for more than just mowing. Plowing snow, hauling dirt, and even light farming were all fair game. During its short production run from 1961 to 1963, over 59,000 units hit the market, proving that homeowners were more than ready to embrace mechanized yard work. Even today, collectors go nuts for these tractors. If you ever hear someone rattling off facts about rear fenders and grille designs at a vintage tractor show, odds are they're talking about the Cub Cadet original. Some folks even soup them up with modern engines and paint jobs, proving that even after 60 years, this machine still has a place in the garage. The Allis-Chalmers G, the little tractor that dared to be different. Built between 1948 and 1955 in Gadsden, Alabama, this machine was designed for small farms and vegetable growers. Now, here's the part that made it stand out. The engine was in the back. That's right. Unlike traditional tractors, the G put its 10-horsepower Continental N62 engine behind the driver. This meant the operator had a clear view of the row ahead, making precision work like planting and cultivating much easier. With a weight of about 1,285 pounds and a 3-speed transmission, plus a sneaky little creeper gear for extra low speeds, the G was light, agile, and surprisingly versatile. It may not have been a powerhouse, but it was all about precision. This was the go-to machine if you needed to weed between rows without turning your cabbage patch into a battlefield. Allis-Chalmers expected big things from the G, but only 29,976 units were sold. Maybe the world wasn't quite ready for a rear-engine tractor back then, but enthusiasts today sure are. Many G models have been lovingly restored, and some have even been converted into electric tractors, proving that good ideas never really go out of style. Finally, we have the John Deere Model L, a compact legend that rolled off the production line from 1937 to 1946. Now, this one goes a bit further back in time, but its impact on small tractors is undeniable. The Model L packed a 77.6 cubic inch Hercules 2-cylinder engine, pushing around 10 drawbar horsepower and 14 belt horsepower. Not exactly a muscle machine, but for its size, it got the job done. John Deere knew not every farmer needed a massive tractor. Some just needed something nimble for small farms, orchards, and gardens. That's where the Model L came in. It handled cultivating, light plowing, and wagon pulling with ease. Plus, thanks to its compact design, it could navigate tight spaces without knocking over every fence post in sight. In 1938, industrial designer Henry Dreyfuss gave the Model L a facelift, adding streamlined cowlings and grills. This wasn't just about looks, it made the tractor more aerodynamic and easier to clean. The Model L set the stage for future small tractors, proving that you didn't need massive horsepower to be useful. It was practical, reliable, and way ahead of its time. Today, collectors prize it for its pioneering role in John Deere's compact tractor lineup. Sometimes it's all about working smarter, not harder. These tiny machines might be small, but their impact is huge. Whether you're a collector, a farmer, or just someone who appreciates a good piece of machinery, these classic American tractors prove that size isn't everything. Got a favorite from the list? Drop a comment below and let us know. And if you want more vintage tractor stories, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you never miss a video. See you in the next one.